Hey there, Cam here from Training Tilt. Welcome to this week's episode of Endurance Coaching Business. Just a word from our sponsor, me, at Training Tilt. Training Tilt's an all-in-one endurance coaching platform where running, endurance and triathlon coaches can plan and analyse training for their athletes, but they can also publish a website, share content online, sell things in their online store, including their own training plans, all in a branded, customizable way. So if you're sick of using something like Training Peaks, where you're just another coach among tens of thousands of other coaches with no real branding or customization, then it might be worth taking a look at Training Tilt. We're a bit more of a boutique option. We don't have anywhere near as many coaches, and we don't sell anything directly to athletes as well, so we'll never compete with you for your clients. Anyway, clients is what we're talking about today. So this is part 3 of my 9-part series about how coaches can attract new clients. So we started with finding new coaching clients through partnerships. So lots of coaches already have partnerships underway, but maybe they're not utilizing them to the max because they're not structuring it in a way that makes the most of it. So that covers that, how to structure a partnership, how to get the most of it out of it. Next one was attracting coaching clients with social proof. So word of mouth is a big way to get clients, but most coaches leave that to chance. So utilizing testimonials, case studies, and that sort of thing about your successful clients is a great way to attract more successful clients, just like those ones. So it's a bit like more structure around how to leverage those things so your word of mouth can be optimized a little bit and just help you reach more clients. Anyway, today we're talking about attracting coaching clients with content marketing. So content marketing's a big thing over the last probably decade, especially with social media, but a lot of coaches struggle with it. We all struggle with it. All business owners struggle with it because you're spending time in your business, where sometimes creating content feels like working on your business and you just don't have enough time in the day, but it's really important, and can help you a lot over time. One of the challenges is that content marketing takes quite a long time before you will see the results. Very similar, as I always say, to endurance training, that your client should not expect results in weeks when it only comes in months and years, and it's the same thing with content marketing. So it's really about consistency over a long period of time. Anyway, you should probably know that. Everyone says it. It's still hard. So what is content marketing? So content marketing is about creating and sharing valuable, relevant, and consistent content to attract and retain your target audience. So not just your customers, but people in your periphery or in your audience that know you or are interested in the things that you know. So ultimately that's the first part. The next step is ultimately driving them to take action, which really means eventually buying what you're selling. So, like I was saying, it's one of the best scalable ways to establish authority and build trust, and then expand your reach. So stuff like blogging, video content, social media, podcasting, all of which can help you share your expertise. So that's what it's about. It's getting your expertise out there. You're an expert. Content marketing is just putting that out into the world. That's probably the simplest way to put it. So again, answering common questions and connect with your audience. So you're probably already doing this sort of thing, but with your customers. So you share your knowledge with them, and you might not think of that as content marketing, but the goals and strategies are the same. So the power of content marketing is the ability to reach outside of your existing circle and build trust with potential new clients who otherwise are probably not aware of your business. Before we get into the strategies, just want to talk about a thing that holds a lot of us back. So I'm calling it the resistance. Well, I'm not calling it the resistance, but fighting the resistance is the title of this part of the episode. So before we delve into the tips, let's just quickly cover something that's probably stopped your progress of content creation in the past. So this guy, Stephen Pressfield, author, wrote a book called The War of Art. And in that book, he describes the resistance as an invisible force that actively works against creativity and progress. So it's not just creativity, but also progress. He writes, resistance will tell you anything to keep you from doing your work. It will perjure, fabricate, it will seduce, bully, and cajole. Resistance will assume any form if that's what it takes to deceive you. It will reason with you like a lawyer or jam a 9mm in your face like a stick-up man. Resistance will pledge anything to get you to stop doing what you were born to do. There you go. As a coach, you know that athletes also experience this resistance. Sometimes it's physical fatigue, sometimes it's mental barriers like self-doubt, sometimes it's just procrastination. And the same thing happens with content marketing. When you sit down to do it, you might feel like, I don't have the time, or your ideas aren't good enough, or that no one will care about your content. So just as your athletes push through tough training sessions, you need to push past that resistance in content creation. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. You feel it, like when you sit down to put yourself in front of the camera, you question yourself. You feel this urge not to do it. I feel it all the time. Sometimes I let it overwhelm me and don't do what I set out to do. So being aware of that is the first part of beating it. So try and remember that. Next thing is, don't focus on quality at the beginning or at the start when you're just starting creating your content. So focusing too much on the quality of your content in the beginning is likely to derail your strategy completely. It's fine to have standards, but creativity is one of those things that you actually need to build up over time by putting things out into the real world, getting real feedback, iterating and getting better at the craft. And you just won't do that if you're not putting it out for people to see. So don't get hung up by having the right camera equipment or having professionally polished and edited videos. That can all be refined over time as you improve and develop your skills and as you get a bit of traction. So it's a good exercise to go and some creators online that you enjoy their stuff, go back months or years when they first started the content, and I'm sure you'll find for most people that it really wasn't that good in the beginning and it's improved a lot over time. And the only way they did that is by putting that crappy stuff out into the world. So consistency. So like I said, just like training for an endurance event, content marketing requires a structured approach, not just randomly when you feel like creating your content. So you wouldn't have your athletes train randomly and expect to get good results. So the same principle applies to content marketing. A well-planned schedule ensures steady progress, helping you build that trust and authority over time. So sticking to that schedule also prevents gaps in engagement and keeps your audience consistently connected to your brand. You'd be surprised how many times someone has to see some of your content before they even remember you, let alone ready to take action. So don't fear that you're putting too much out into the world. You're definitely going to be the other way around. Preparation. So it's important to be prepared, to plan. So one simple thing is just to create a list, like in a spreadsheet somewhere or just in notes or in a notebook anywhere. Create a list of content ideas to draw from, so you don't have to rely on creativity when the time comes to create content. All you do is just quickly grab an idea from your list. You don't have that mental load of trying to think of a good topic when you're tired or grumpy or whatever. So if you're anything like me, my ideas never come to me at the time I'm ready to create some content, they just come to me some random time while I'm sleeping, while I'm in the shower, while I'm out running, while I'm surfing or whatever. So as soon as you get back, write those in your notebook or put them in the spreadsheet, and then you just need to grab it later. So just like training plans, to be effective, content creation needs to be part of your daily, at least weekly routine. Again, just like how you plan your training for your athletes. Next thing to cover is what types of content to share. So to attract and convert potential clients, you need to be thinking about where those clients are in their own journey towards needing your services. So 3 key stages: awareness, consideration, and decision stages. You might have heard this, but they might have different terms or something. So the buyer journey stages or something like that. So first one is awareness. They might be unaware, or they might be aware of the problem that they have or the goal that they have, but they're not really thinking about it. So at this stage, they don't really know what they need. They don't know if they need a coach. They don't know if they need a training plan, but they're just starting to realize that they got a problem they want solving. So in this type of content, you want to create some stuff that's educational, inspirational, so helping them identify what their problem might be, or positioning positioning yourself as a trusted source of knowledge. So some examples in this, like blog posts answering common questions, e.g. why do runners get injured, common mistakes and how to avoid them, stuff like that. Social media post sharing, training tips and motivational stories, short form videos, debunking endurance training myths, for example, infographics, carousel posts explaining basic concepts like how heart rate training works or how to train for a marathon. And again, podcast episodes considering the same thing. So the next stage is consideration. So they're aware that they got a problem and they are evaluating their options. So at this point, they know they need help and they're exploring different solutions, not necessarily ready to buy. So this is the type of content you want to create that provides deeper insights into your maybe coaching philosophies and methodology, demonstrating how you can solve these problems that they now become aware of. So what types for this? Longer form blog posts, how a running coach can help you PR for your next marathon. YouTube videos explaining advanced training techniques, case studies and testimonials from your existing or past clients. Webinars or live Q&A sessions about common challenges. Email newsletters with more detailed training insights and success stories. So the last stage is decision stage, product aware, and they're ready to buy. So they know what they want coaching, or they know what they want a training plan. Now it's your job to convince them that you're the one that they should buy it off. So they're actively looking, and so your content should really highlight your uniqueness, maybe even pricing and specific services to nudge them towards making a decision. So what do we got here in terms of content types? So more details about your actual specific coaching services and comparisons, maybe a guide about how to choose the right endurance coach for you. Free trials or introductory coaching calls, so content based around those, calls to actions to those. Behind the scenes content showing your actual coaching process. So you see this is all much more detailed stuff about the services that you provide. More detailed client success stories and case studies with some data-driven results, and maybe some limited time offers or discounts for new clients as well. So this is sort of more salesy stuff. So if we go through those again, you got your awareness. So that's just like much broader, talking about cool ideas, strategies, etc. Consideration, you get a little bit more specific about things that you work on, exploring different solutions. And then the decision stage is when you're very specific about what you can provide and why you're the best option for those people, because they're ready to decide. Okay, so the other types of content are short versus long form content. So when should you do short form and when should you do long form, and why? So short form is great for grabbing attention quickly and creating the initial interest. So especially on social media Reels, TikToks, etc. But it's never going to typically provide enough depth to actually convince someone of your expertise. So you want to use the short form content as a gateway to direct people to your long form content. So they might find out about you, about the short form fun content, but then you want to start guiding them to your long form stuff. So short form stuff, short training tips, short 60-second TikToks or Reels explaining some common endurance myth, tweets, etc., carousel posts on LinkedIn, all that sort of thing. Short content, easy to consume. But then once you've got their interest and they know you, start to trust you, then you want to redirect them to the long form content ideas. So ideally you want to link these back to the short form stuff. You might have a short form content idea about something and then a much longer form thing that you can use. So blog posts, longer YouTube videos breaking down a full marathon training plan, podcast episodes talking about the nuances of heart rate, training zones, something that people can really get their teeth stuck into and really learn from you, and really start to build trust that you're an authority in what you are talking about. So linking them together. So like I said, you want to use the short form content to tease or introduce topics covered by the long form content. So for example, an Instagram post about the biggest mistakes runners make with fueling could briefly highlight the mistake and then direct followers to a detailed blog post explaining the solutions to that problem. Or another example, a short TikTok addressing heart rate zones could end with wonderful breakdown. Check out my latest YouTube video, which is a longer form content. So that works great on YouTube as well, where you have your shorts and then you have your longer form content. A lot of people just consume the shorts, but if they really get interested and engaged, they might want to look at your longer form content. So the next thing about content is distribution. So how to actually get your content out there. So I'm really just going to talk about reusing your content across multiple channels. I wouldn't get caught up too much around customizing all of your content for each different channel. People will tell you that that's a good idea, but if you're not really even getting enough content out now in one form, it's pretty unrealistic that you would be able to do different or edited content for all the different channels. So just push out, pick your favorite, build the content for that channel specifically, and then just share it out on the other channels as well. And one other tip is distribution, but also it goes back to long form and the short form content, do the long form content first. And there are some cool AI tools out there now where you can give it the long form video, for example, and it will split it up into little shorts videos and even put captions on top of it to generate that content for you. So all you need is the longer content, and then the shorts can be created automatically, which is cool. All right, so what are our key takeaways? Consistency is key. We know that. Always have a list of content ideas to draw from, so when you have an opportunity to create the content, this will help you fight the resistance that we talked about earlier, the thing that's always stopping you. Just hit publish. Try not to get caught up on focusing too much on quality. Publishing content is like a muscle that you need to build up over time. You don't want to start with the heaviest weights first. As you get better and more confident, so will your content, but you have to publish it first. Use short form content for attention to direct to your longer content that provides the real value and builds trust. Repurpose content across multiple platforms to maximize the reach and save time and make the most of the work that you've done. Focus on answering common questions and addressing the needs of your target audience. So that's the best content to create. Figure out who your best customers are. Create content on problems that they're having or goals that they have. Use a variety of formats, blogs, videos, podcasts to appeal to different preferences. People like to consume their content in their own way. For example, I always create this blog, do a video, and also publish it on my podcast, and I don't really edit the bit in any different way. I just put it out there. So what are the next steps? Well, create your list of content ideas in a spreadsheet first. I use an app called Notion, which is just a simple note-taking app. Can be really complicated if you want it to be, but I just keep pages of notes and lists and with little check boxes and check them off when I've done that content. Schedule your content creation into your daily or weekly plan. So I have in my Google Calendar, I have all of my tasks for the week to try and generate that one piece of content at least once a week. What tools will you need? Well, you'll need a platform like Training Tool or another website or blog platform if you're going to do blog content. Publish things on your own website, which you should always do. Even if you put the videos on social media, it's great to have it on a blog post as well, because pages on websites last a lot longer into the future than social media posts do that just slide out of the feed. So if you're putting it on your website as well, you might not get that much traffic straight away, but over time that will help with search engine optimization, maybe feed into some of the AI models as they're learning from the internet. They might consume your content. What else? Some video recording equipment. All you need is your phone. Podcast hosting platforms. If you're going to have a podcast, somewhere to push it out, we use Transistor for ours. Social media scheduling tools, we use one called Publer and another one called SocialBee. That enables you, if you're busy, just to post something to all of the platforms in one go, and you can schedule them and stuff as well. And then, of course, a spreadsheet or a project management tool to keep your ideas in. Got some related blog articles as well. One's called Selling Sawdust. You can just Google Training Tool Selling Sawdust. And that explains how to make the most of what you've already created by repurposing content. I've also got one about how to create a blog post with an AI assistant. Probably needs updating, but that's quite a interesting one. I normally use ChatGPT to help me with my ideas and help me with a bit of writing, improve my content, etc. And then, of course, more in this series, partnerships and social proof and testimonials we've already done. The next one I'm talking about is facilitating challenges. So I hope you enjoyed this one and the two before, and we'll keep going with this series. And in the meantime, please go to trainingtalk.com, check us out. Even if you're using another platform at the moment, I think we're better for coaching businesses than Training Peaks are, just because we focus on only the needs of coaches and we don't compete with you by trying to sell stuff to your clients. All right, talk to you guys soon.